welcome to JAX London. I'm here with Erica Tanti, who just finished her wonderful session on public speaking. So how was it? How was the audience, first of all, since such talk?
It was a wonderful audience. I gave them a little bit of audience participation, which you always can go either way, where I got them to actually network and speak to each other, and they got really involved and they got really chatty, and when the 2 minutes were up, I kind of had to stop them, so that's always a good sign.
Yeah, of course. Everything was great. Would you say that public speaking is an essential tool, is an essential skill for software engineers?
Yes, I'd say that everyone as a software engineer works in teams and works in companies. If you are working in an office, then you're communicating all the time with your colleagues. And if you're working remotely, then your company is probably still flying you out and you're doing calls all the time. So you're communicating constantly without even thinking about it sometimes. So it's definitely an essential skill for us.
And of course, public speaking skills would help a person who wants to become a speaker.
Yes.
But can speaking in public actually make you a better software engineer?
Yeah, so when you speak in public, if you've got a concept in your head, if you manage to communicate it to other people, it also helps you understand the concept better. So that's definitely one way where it can make you a better software engineer. And the second way is that by collaborating with all the other software developers, you're making it possible for yourself to learn new things and to come into contact with different scenarios which you may not have gotten into contact with in your day-to-day if you hadn't spoken out.
True. And perhaps sometimes the audience also challenges the information that you present them or
I think some speakers are sometimes like, what if they ask a question I don't know the answer to? And the answer to that is say, I don't know.
Exactly.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, true. And from what I've heard, one of the reasons why people don't go on stage and actually deliver a talk is because of crippling anxiety.
Yes.
What would your advice be for them, and how can they overcome this anxiety?
Yeah, so I'd say find your safe space. Find somewhere where you can practice and speak, and by doing it repeatedly, then you'll be able to get more comfortable with it and get better at it. So, for example, there are a number of organizations which allow you to speak. So, JAX itself is open to having new speakers.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. The London Java community also has sessions for new speakers. There's Toastmasters and JCI, which are non-profits, which do public speaking and leadership skills. So if you want to do that, then find your safe space, definitely.
And are such events the only way to break into the, let's say, Czech speaker circuit?
So you can definitely practice speaking in your day-to-day. So in your job, when you're in meetings, or when you're just at a meetup as an attendee, you can network with other individuals, and those are great ways to start speaking slowly. Public speaking isn't just standing on a stage and speaking to a bunch of people. But if eventually you want to get out on stage, then that's where those sort of organizations can help. But you can also organize tech talks in your own company, or you can go to other events which might not be tech related and try and speak there. So there's a world of opportunities if you want to speak.
And something that really caught my eye in your talk was about slides. You mentioned the fact that, the more slides you have, the more you actually hide from your audience, because they tell the story for you.
Yes.
So how should a speaker tell the story himself?
Yes. So with slides, especially when you're starting out, I'd say less is more. If you're ready to go out there and have no slides at all, that's a brilliant way to make sure that your audience is focusing on you. People find it scary, but I see that when I do that, other people tend to be impressed. Other people tend to see it as a great sign of bravery, when in actual fact, it's just like I have less things to worry about, because when I do have slides, then I'm worried about the clicker, and I'm worried about the timing, and a bunch of that kind of stuff.
And let's acknowledge the elephant in the room at the same time.
Yeah.
Is it harder for female software engineers to actually speak in public, and why? Why is that?
I think that maybe we're primed when we're young that to be polite is to be quiet, and that's where that kind of thing comes from. It's a thing that when a woman speaks out, if they speak out in the same way that a man does, it can be perceived as more aggressive. But at the end of the day, I found that the developer community and the world in general is ready for the change. So when you do put yourself out there, I tend to get a lot of positive feedback. I tend to get a lot of encouragement. There's a lot of support, both groups which are specifically targeting women and just in general. So I'd say just do it. Just do it.
Things are changing indeed.
Definitely.
We do have a Women in Tech series ourselves. But one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of talented, like really talented women say no to public speaking, although they are so extremely knowledgeable. How can we fix that? How can we encourage them to actually do something that they would do wonderfully?
Yeah, I'd say that it's about giving people the confidence boost. So they're definitely scared of something, so it's good to see what it is that is scaring them and then help them get the tools and the techniques which will make them confident to stand up on stage. Because I believe that we all have a unique story, and with diversity, then you have an even more diverse set of stories. So being the one who speaks out, that's a really important thing, because you can bring your own perspective and bring your own spin onto things.
That's great advice. One last question.
Sure.
Do you think you have to be an expert in order to become a speaker, or if you are passionate enough, you can do whatever you want?
Yeah, I'd say you definitely don't need to be an expert. If you're not an expert, then it's okay to be upfront about it. What you are doing is sharing your journey. So you'll be able to share your journey with the tool, with the technology, with the concept to other people who are also just starting out. And that way, helping people to get to where you are at.
That's great advice. Thank you very much for the interview, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.